Alrighty, hello everybody, this is DeadPoolJ, and today I am playing Europa Universalis 3 Divine Wind. This is a grand strategy game developed by Paradox Interactive. It's kind of like a real-time strategy game, but on a grander scale. You control a country. In this game, the time frame is from 1399 all the way up until 1821. Excuse me. Um, the point of the game is to control your country. There's no actual defined win condition in this. It's not like Civilization where, you'll have a goal of achieving a certain victory type. There is no actual goal. It's an open-ended game. You control your diplomacy, you wage war, you manage your economy, you build buildings in your different provinces, which give your provinces different kind of buffs to, like, army training time, shipbuilding time, fort level, stuff like that. It's very interactive, it's very hands-on, it's very complex. Let me turn the mic volume down a bit. Okay, there we go. There's just a lot of stuff to do. So we're going to be doing a single-player campaign. We're going to start from the beginning, 14th of October, 1399, and what I am deciding to do for this playthrough, which I have never done this country before, is we are going to be Bohemia. We're going to try to become the Holy Roman Emperor. We're going to try to form the Holy Roman Empire, which I've never done before. This is going to be interesting, and yeah, we'll just see how it goes from there. That is my goal, is at least to become Emperor at least once. Alright, play. Alrighty, so, like I said, this game is very open-ended, but it does give you missions. These missions are entirely optional. They're just things that the game goes, hey, if you don't know what to do, try this, it'll be good for you. What the mission for this one is to improve our relation with the Habsburgs, that is Austria. So I'm going to go and bring this over to the political map mode, which highlights all the different kinds of countries. There's all sorts of different map modes. Starts off with terrain, so you can see what kind of terrain there is, depending on the type of terrain when you engage in battle. Different troops will have, different penalties. Usually it's best to keep it in political map mode. So, okay. So, my country is Little Bohemia here. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's not working, panic. Okay, oh, that's the speed. There we go. Alright, so my country is Bohemia. Fog of War is lifted in provinces adjacent to my provinces, and here we can see Austria. So we click on one of the provinces in their countries, and we get this diplomacy menu thing. We can see all sorts of different information about the province, about the country, so on and so forth. What we want to do is send a gift, or being the we are the emperor. This is interesting. Okay, so being the emperor in this game means you can do a lot of different and interesting things. What the goal is that you need to make your electors want to vote for you. And the way you do that is through improving their relations, so on and so forth. Otherwise, they're going to start voting for a different emperor. Like, for example, if we look at these electors, right now, they want Burgundy to be the emperor, and we don't want that. One of the stats that you have is the imperial authority. If you look here, we gain authority by honoring calls to arms, winning defensive wars against foreign powers, bringing the countries in the Holy Roman Empire to the true faith, and that is whichever faith is the empire's faith. Liberating member states, if somebody eats up one of the Holy Roman Empire states, you get actually, I gotta clear my throat. and you wage war against them, you can make sure that that country is then liberated. It becomes its own country. That gives you authority, forcing non-member to release a member vassal, forcing non-members to remove a member from their sphere of influence, from making provinces join the empire, successive emperors from the same country. So if I got all these guys to vote for me, I would gain authority. And you can lose authority by dishonoring calls to arms, by provinces leaving the empire, or by them converting to filthy heresy. So what I want to do is make sure that our relations with Austria improve. So we need to get our relations, as you can see right here, I want to get that up to 150. So I'm going to lose one imperial authority. So my imperial authority is going to go down to 19. But it improved our relations by 16, so now it's at 101. And because I interacted with them on a diplomatic level, I have to wait a month for a diplomat to arrive. Which brings me up to this screen. So you have a number of, like, I guess you can say important people in your country. You have merchants, colonists, diplomats, missionaries, spies, and magistrates. They all do different things. Colonists you can send to uninhabited provinces and have them colonize it over time. Merchants you send to centers of trade and they give you monies. Diplomats you use to do all the diplomacy stuff right here. Missionaries you use to convert provinces in your nation to the one true faith and not filthy heresy. Spies, which you can do spy things. And magistrates. You use these to enact different decisions that come up. You use them to build buildings. It's always a good idea to have a ton of magistrates. You can only have up to 5 of these guys at a time. If you do, you don't gain any more over time. Let's go on and explain a bit more of the UI here. This is the country flag. You use it to bring up your country stuff. This is your manpower. You need 1,000 manpower to bring in 1 regiment of troops. And you do that either by clicking on your province and going to recruit regiment, or if you're cool, you right click and can do that there. If you have coastal provinces, you can build ships that way. Yeah. Your stability, it's always a good idea to have more stability. If you lose stability, nothing good comes from it. The game even outright tells you that. Our stability right now is at +1. Right there, +1. And as you can see, I'm just going to leave this up for a moment. It gives us all those benefits, which is good. Our monies. Ducats is the currency used in the game. All countries in the game use ducats. And you spend ducats, you get ducats every month, so on and so forth. Our prestige, basically what this is a, it's not like a score. The more prestige you have, it does all these different things that are listed here. It's kind of just like a score, The more prestige you have, the better. Infamy. Infamy, you gain infamy by taking provinces that aren't rightfully yours. For example, if I were to go to war against Thuringia here, and I were to swallow them and eat them up, those would become Bohemian, but because they are not rightful Bohemian clay, I would gain infamy by doing that. Having infamy is not good. If you gain too much infamy, very bad things will happen. I have been there many times. Nothing good comes from it. You lose infamy over time. As it says, your ruler modifies it. Different advisors, which we'll go over later, can modify how much infamy you lose over time. It's always a good idea to try to limit the amount of infamy you have. Yearly legitimacy change. So you can form royal marriages with other countries, and Basically, I believe it gives you more prestige if you do, but it also increases your legitimacy. If you have a low legitimacy, somebody can claim your throne and try to go to war over you and make you a lesser part of a personal union, which means that their country, their leader, controls your country also. Think of it like Austria Hungary back in however long ago that was. It's been years since I was in school learning history. But one ruler controlling two countries, if you have higher legitimacy, you can prevent that. Let's see. There's all sorts of stuff over here. We'll just go through it a bit at a time as we go on. For now, let's look at our alerts. Change the slider. So what this does is that it's basically the kind of direction your country takes. You know, are you more innovative, which means that you can research technology better, or are you more narrow-minded, which means that you have a lesser chance of heretics converting your provinces and you have better relations with the church. So on and so forth. Mercantilism, free trade affects, your training, whether it's better at home or overseas. Offensive or defensive affects your troops, land and naval, so on and so forth. There's a lot of these. For now, what I want to do is let's look at the trade map mode. Okay, let's zoom out. So you can see that there's a lot of different colors going on here. What this means is that there's a center of trade that you can trade through. When you click on a province, you can see exactly what province the center of trade is. And the center of trade in all of my provinces are either Lübeck or Venezia. And I do not control either Lübeck or Venezia. And where's Lübeck? Let's see, find provinces. Beck. Lübeck's right there. I'm not going to be going up that far, so I'm probably not going to have any centers of trade in my country. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my slider over to free trade. What this means is that if we look at the benefits here, we gain all sorts of benefits, but if we look at the downsides, national spy defense goes down and merchant compete chance from owned provinces goes down. So spy defense, I don't know. I think it's worth it to have all of these other economic benefits, so I'm going to move my slider over towards free trade, and every time you move a slider, an event pops up. With the relaxation of restrictions on foreign merchants, some of our own traders feel that they are not getting enough state support and have decided to switch careers. We lose 3 merchants. RIP. Okay. So it means that we don't have any merchants right now going to any centers of trade that we're sending them to. Things happen, Once we get more merchants, we gain 3 a year. We'll start sending them to either Venezia or Lübeck and start getting our economy in shape. Alright, advisors. So you can hire different advisors. You have all these advisors. Usually there's a lot more, but at the beginning of the game there's not really a whole lot. But they offer you different benefits at a cost. It costs 18 ducats to hire this guy, and we have to pay 0.6 ducats each month. But right now, monthly stability investments, we want our stability up, and we want that up now, so I'm going to hire him. And you can have up to 3 advisors. Typically, it's not always good to have 3. It depends on, can you afford it? Is the cost you're paying outweighed by the benefits you get? That's some things you need to think about. The economy tab. What this does is that there's different tech levels that you have. There's government, production, trade, naval, land, and each of them you invest a certain amount of ducats into. And once you invest a certain amount, like for example we have 204 ducats invested in land technology, once that hits 3036. That 3 is going to go up to tech level 4, and we can build an armory. So I am probably not going to go much into naval. I'm not going to be colonizing. What I want to do is basically eat all this up. All this is going to become the Holy Roman Empire one day. And so I'm not going to be, like, colonizing the New World or Africa or anything like that. I'm not going to be dealing over in Asia. I'm just going to be in Europe. So I brought the naval slider down. And as you can see, the amount of ducats that we're investing into the rest of the stuff, it all went up on the other ones. Alright. I think that's about it for now. Right now, we have one army stationed in the capital, Bohemia. We do not have a general, but it has 25,000 men strong, 19 regiments of infantry, and 6 regiments of cavalry. So that is about it for what we do before even unpausing the game and actually starting. This is the kind of in-depth and complex sort of strategy game that you need to think a lot about. There's just so much that goes into it. I'm going to cut this video right now and upload it as the first video on my channel, Woop Woop. And yeah, I will see you all later.